The era of localized aerial combat has withered, replaced by a globalized kill web that operates from the cold vacuum of low Earth orbit, or LEO. By April 2026, the People's Republic of China has successfully bridged the gap between orbital sensing and kinetic execution. This is not merely an advancement in missile technology. It is the birth of the Orbital Kill-Chain. The PL-17, a 6-meter-long titan of aerial denial, no longer flies blindly toward a distant coordinate. It is now the guided hand of 1,000 orbital eyes, a weapon designed to dismantle the very nervous system of Western air power. The PL-17, known in technical circles as the CHAA-12 auger, is a weapon of extreme kinematic reach designed with a singular purpose: the neutralization of high-value airborne assets, or HVAA. Its massive airframe, housing a dual-pulse solid rocket motor, allows it to engage targets at ranges exceeding 400 kilometers. However, at such distances, the curvature of the Earth and the mobility of the target render traditional radar guidance obsolete. The PL-17 is a spear that requires a celestial guide to find its mark, and that guide is the LEO megaconstellation. High above the atmosphere, the Thousand Sails, Attrition and Guowang constellations have transformed the sky into a persistent multispectral sensor. With thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit, China has achieved a level of orbital density that ensures no stealth airframe remains unmonitored for more than a few minutes. These satellites utilize synthetic aperture radar (SAR) and long-wave infrared (LWIR) sensors to bypass the radar cross-section (RCS) reduction of fifth-generation fighters. From the perspective of LEO, stealth is a relic of a terrestrial past. The most lethal innovation within the Guowang network is the use of passive Bistatic radar. As an F-35 or F-22 moves through the atmosphere, it inevitably disrupts the ambient radio waves and signals emitted by the megaconstellation. The LEO satellites do not need to see the aircraft directly. They detect the shadow and reflections it leaves behind. This technique effectively renders traditional stealth coatings useless, as the sensor and the receiver are separated by hundreds of miles, catching the radar energy that was meant to be deflected into the void. For the PL-17, the most critical phase of flight is the mid-course. Traveling at hypersonic speeds through the thin air of the upper stratosphere, the missile requires constant positional updates to intercept a maneuvering AWACS or tanker. Through high-speed laser inter-satellite links, ISL, the target's coordinates are refreshed in real time. This orbital data is fed directly into the PL-17's guidance system via a secure quantum link, allowing the missile to adjust its trajectory long before its own onboard seekers are activated. As the PL-17 re-enters the denser atmosphere for its final kill, it activates a sophisticated dual-mode seeker. Combining an active electronically scanned array, AESA radar with an infrared search and track IRST sensor, the missile becomes a self-contained predator. Even if the target attempts extreme electronic jamming, the IRST sensor locks onto the massive thermal signature of the aircraft's engines. The orbital layer has already placed the missile within the basket of probability. The dual-mode seeker merely executes the final inevitable sentence. The integration of LEO constellations and the PL-17 has effectively killed the Western standoff doctrine. In previous decades, AWACS and tankers could operate in relative safety behind a screen of fighters. That safety is gone. China can now detect and track these vital assets from hundreds of miles away, launching PL-17s from J-16 or J-20 platforms that never need to enter the enemy's engagement zone. The circulatory system of modern air combat is being bled dry by a weapon that strikes from beyond the horizon of imagination. The audit of April 2026 reveals that the true victory lies in industrial throughput. China's ability to launch satellites at a rapid cadence via the Innovation Academy for Microsatellites ensures that the LEO layer is self-healing. For every satellite jammed or destroyed, another is ready to take its place. Similarly, the mass production of the PL-17 creates an attrition gap that legacy air forces cannot bridge. The war is no longer won by the most advanced jet, but by the side that controls the data flow between the stars and the sea. As we look toward the future, the sky has become a transparent battlefield. The combination of the PL-17 and the LEO megaconstellations represents the ultimate evolution of A2/AD. The celestial watchman sees all, and the long-range interceptor strikes with cold mathematical certainty. We have moved into an era where distance is no longer a defense and silence is no longer a shield. The orbital kill-chain is active, and the age of the invisible fighter has officially been consigned to the archives of history.